Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I do want to further speak about the Barcelona versus Atletico Madrid match. Now, Barcelona did beat Atletico Madrid 3-0. It was an amazing game. Many people were entertained and many people cannot believe what they saw because the fact that Barcelona were so dominant against a team like Atletico Madrid, it woke up the football world because there is a dark horse in Europe and that is FC Barcelona. So I don't know how long this video is going to be, but I do have a lot to say regarding this match and I do want to speak about this narrative that has been going on between Frenkie de Jong and Pedri. Many people have been questioning, does Barcelona play better and quicker without Frenkie de Jong and Pedri? There has also been multiple tweets and Instagram posts discussing that Barcelona are better without Frenkie de Jong. So let me explain why I am going against this because I just have to get this off my chest. Let's start with Pedri. Pedri is a player that is very well known for the pausa, meaning the pause. It's just in Spanish. Like he likes to slow down the game when things are going too fast. He takes control of the match. He knows what tempo the game needs and he always makes the right decision. He's also extremely quick when he needs to. He's technically very gifted. He's very much someone like Andres Iniesta. He knows how to operate in tight spaces, right? Because of his high Q. He has great vision, great awareness. That is Pedri. As for Frenkie de Jong is somebody who is very composed on the ball. He has great passing abilities and he knows how to break the opposition's lines with his dribbling because his carrying ability is just phenomenal. You can't find that nowhere else. And throughout the years, Frenkie de Jong has been showing to Barcelona that he can play in multiple positions. He can play in the central midfield role. He can play in the defensive midfield role. Sometimes we even saw him as a left winger. Sometimes we even saw him as a center back. If you need him as a box-to-box midfielder or somebody higher up the pitch, he will adapt to whatever the team does need. But his true form and his best form is when he is paired up with a central defensive midfielder. That is when you do get the best from Frenkie de Jong. Also, he knows how to tackle. He knows how to intercept the ball. Defensively, he has been amazing this season. The reason why we have not seen much of Frenkie is because of his injury. Now let me ask you guys this. Name me one player that Barcelona have right now that can do what Frenkie does and that can do what Pedri does. That's right, there is no other player. Only Frenkie is able to do what he does at Barcelona, and also Pedri is the only player that can do what he does at the club. And let me place more focus on Frenkie de Jong because there is much more debate on Frenkie for some reason. Many again have been saying Barcelona do play better without Frenkie de Jong, and I think that this is just an agenda. It's an agenda. It's the exact same type of thing on trying to get Frenkie out of Barcelona to go to a team like Manchester United. It's the same thing all over again. It's just rephrased in a different way. Many people want to see Frenkie de Jong out of Barcelona because they want to destroy Barcelona. Last summer, right, many were saying Frenkie should be out because he does not do anything. Now today, people are saying Barcelona won without Frenkie, which means that Frenkie de Jong should be out because he does not do anything. It's an agenda to destroy Barcelona. Let's be very well aware on what's actually going on here. In this community that we have within Barca media, we need to be together. We need to showcase to everybody on social media, whether it's on Instagram or on Twitter or on Facebook or in other comment sections on YouTube, that Barcelona is fully supported. And most importantly, the players and the coach, Xavi Hernandez, are fully supported and backed by us. Because if we let these people continue to say Barcelona is better without Frenkie de Jong, Xavi Hernandez is not the ideal coach for Barcelona, you will destroy Barcelona from the inside. And so it's crazy to me to see that there is an agenda on Pedri and Frenkie to try and justify why Barcelona are better without them, as if we did not beat Real Madrid a few months ago 4-0 with Pedri and with Frenkie de Jong. Nobody talks about that fast-paced game that Barcelona played with them, but people quickly forget because again, there is an agenda. People don't want you to know that and they want you to forget about that and to look at today. There's also stats that back up why Barcelona do need Frenkie because usually when Barcelona don't have Frenkie, the data has been collected and it has been said that in 16 games without Frenkie de Jong, Barcelona won 6 games. They drew 7 and they lost 3. The team has scored 18 goals and allowed 13. Part of the reason why Barcelona don't get great results without Frenkie is because they lose control of the match, and that leads to us conceding more goals and winning less games. And the reason why we're getting results now, right, so like against Atletico Madrid, against Napoli, is because Xavi Hernandez is a great tactician. Xavi Hernandez has been with Barcelona long enough to know how to adapt his players to get the best game possible. And it's important for us to have context, right, because people, again, these people who create these narratives, they also don't have context within the games. And so any average person that listens to what these people have to say in the media are going to be believing that, yeah, maybe Barcelona is better without Frenkie de Jong, but context matters. And that is something that I preach in this YouTube channel. We need to know exactly what happened in the game. And let's take Atletico Madrid for example. As you can see here in the attacking momentum, you can see that Atletico Madrid actually had very high chances early in the game. Barcelona barely had some until they got into the last 10 to 15 minutes. And the reason why Atletico Madrid had so many chances, had so much attacking momentum, momentum is because Barcelona lost control. They lacked control. You and me can agree on that because we have talked about that multiple times on here and also on Twitter. Sergio Roberto and Gundogan were our double pivot and they got dismantled by Atletico Madrid. The reason why we did not concede though in those first 20 to 25 minutes is because of our great defensive line. Xavi Hernandez knew this, and Xavi Hernandez knew that he had to get the best from his defensive line, and that is why Cubarsí, Araujo, Koundé, and Hector Fort have been talked about so much in this game. It is because they were held the responsibility to defend well against Atletico Madrid because they knew that Barcelona were not going to be having any control. And so you see why context matters. You see why it is important for us to understand what happened in the match and why Frenkie de Jong is so important for this club. But the people won't tell you that. The pessimists, the toxic fans, they will never explain this. They will just say, oh, look at the scoreline. Oh, look at how Frenkie de Jong was also not here. Neither was Pedri. That basically means that Barcelona just have to be better without them, right? Let me tell you guys another thing. As I continue to look at these games, and especially in the match against Atletico Madrid, there is a strong connection between Pedri and Frenkie de Jong's injuries, right, to their absences with Cubarsí's level at Barcelona currently. The reason why Cubarsí has been so phenomenal for Barcelona is because Frenkie de Jong and Pedri has not been there. What does that mean? Well, let me explain. Xavi Hernandez has basically given Cubarsí the orders, right, and the responsibility to progress play through his long passes. As you can see, through multiple games, Cubarsí has been doing so many long passes over the field, over the players, that reaches either Rafinha, Lewandowski, or Lamine Yamal. This is one of the ways Xavi Hernandez has tried to adapt Barcelona to progress plays, to skip the whole midfield because he knows that the midfield is not good enough to progress play, and he uses Cubarsí as an outlet to put the ball forward and to have Rafinha or Lewandowski or Lamine Yamal receive the ball. I strongly believe Xavi Hernandez did say, hey look, Cubarsí, we don't have Frenkie, we don't have Pedri. It is extremely hard for us to progress play with Gundogan, Sergio Roberto, and Fermín López. Yes, they're great players, yes, they can create, but we need players that can get the ball from the deep areas to the front line, and only you, Cubarsí, can do that. And that has been Xavi Hernandez's game plan. He adapted the players to what Barcelona needed currently. But again, the pessimists and the toxic fans are not going to be explaining this to you. It's not in their best interest. And here's the most beautiful thing about this is that we're adding extra weapons to our arsenal, because imagine you have this type of game plan with Barcelona without Pedri and Frenkie. Imagine when you add Pedri and Frenkie into the starting 11. It's just another big layer into our game. So now we can either do a long ball from the defensive line, or we can carry the ball from deep areas with Frenkie de Jong, or we can make it through pass from the midfield and into the front line, whether it's coming from Gundogan or Pedri or Frenkie. We have multiple weapons. I remember there was this journalist that was talking about Pep Guardiola, and he was speaking about how Pep Guardiola likes to implement new ideas based off the players that are available. And this is what he said. There is another very important aspect, which is the capacity to observe the players that you have. Again, this is what Lilo, who is a journalist, said about Pep Guardiola. Then he continues, that has helped Pep develop ideas according to the players that he has. Pep is very sharp with that. He's very intelligent to realize not only what he's going to do, but with whom he's going to do it with. John Stones also added some light on this, on these tactical things through the summer, and this is what he said. He knows everyone's strengths and weaknesses, and that is why we rotate so much, because he feels the player or team he puts out is the best to beat the opposition. And so I don't know if you guys know, but in the past 15 to 18 games, there were matches where Pep Guardiola did not have either Kevin De Bruyne or Erling Haaland due to injuries. And when Man City were doing well without Kevin De Bruyne or without Erling Haaland, nobody said in the media that City are performing better without Kevin De Bruyne, that City are performing better without Erling Haaland, and that Man City should just sell Kevin De Bruyne and Erling Haaland. No one was talking about that. The only thing that was being said was, wow, we praise Pep Guardiola because he gets the best out of every situation. He's just adding another layer of attack through our team. And so unfortunately at Barcelona, we don't get any of that. You don't get no praise for anybody. Xavi Hernandez does not get nothing. And if anything, it just becomes toxic. You just want to disassemble this Barcelona team so these players can hear what the media has been saying about them, because they're like, oh my God, like our voices have now affected Xavi. Now Xavi's going to be leaving in the summer. Let's see if we can try and get out Frenkie de Jong from in the summer. These things are real. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen this video about Barcelona like scoring against Napoli, I believe, and there were like journalists inside the media room that were from Spain. And when Barcelona won that game, none of the journalists celebrated. When Barcelona literally scored, I think it was like the last goal in a Champions League match, there were so many journalists with so many mad faces. You can clearly see the agenda and what type of people they actually are. And then you combine that with the type of toxic energy that you see on Twitter or on Instagram. It's just insane. It's literally Barcelona against the world. And so in the end, Pedri and Frenkie control our game. Yes, I understand that Barcelona played amazing in the past two matches, but just see that as an extra layer of attack instead of saying we should do this instead of that and just sell those two players. Pedri and Frenkie will consider to be key players under Xavi Hernandez and whoever's going to be the coach next. And it is also so clear that during the game between Barcelona and Atletico Atletico Madrid, we lacked a lot of quality in the middle of the pitch. We just readjusted throughout the match, and Xavi Hernandez was huge for that. And the fact that we couldn't control that game in the first 25 to 30 minutes, thanks to our defense and thanks to our attack, Barcelona were able to take advantage of Atletico Madrid and be better than them by actually scoring the goals and being efficient in goal, and also being very efficient in the defensive line, making sure that every 1v1 duel is won. And so to say that Frenkie de Jong slows down play, no, I don't think so. I think that if anything, he progresses play very well. It's just that you don't see the type of long passes from the defensive line when he's on the pitch, because we don't need to do that. Frenkie de Jong is there to break so many lines. Pedri is there to control the match. We don't always have to be like sweating on our knees, hoping that Barcelona don't lose the ball in the middle of the pitch. We always have to be like, oh my god, I pray that Kubarsi takes the ball away. With Pedri, you don't have those type of problems. And just look at the stats here on the top performers for open play, expected assists, expected value in the attack, expected threats from passes, expected threats from carries. You don't see a single midfielder in these rankings. You only see Fermín López, who has the best non-penalty expected goals. But for everybody else, like, I don't see a single midfielder. Why the hell is someone like Rafinha or Lewandowski or Ter Stegen in the expected threats from passes? Why? Would you not assume that maybe someone like Fermín López or Gundogan or Sergio Roberto or Oriol Romeu should be there? No. It is because Barcelona simply relied on these players, our attacking players or our defensive line, to progress play because we did not have Pedri or Frenkie. You best believe Pedri and Frenkie would have been in these rankings if they were there. But that is it, right? That is all I'm going to be saying for today's video. I hope this video made you guys understand just how important these two players are. And don't get it twisted. Don't get confused by what everybody's saying. Don't believe these narratives. Just continue to support these players and know that each of these players also have their special qualities. So, Visca Barca, let's go Xavi. Let's continue to be great and let's end this season on a good note. That is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.